He wasn't.
Hello and welcome to WrestleCulture.
Wasn't my car.
Is that wrong? Long?
Pressing the wrong buttons, isn't he?
Calling Mr. Sidge. Was sad that Murray's ill. He's ill. He's ill. Calling Mr. Miller. Calling Mr. Wilbs. And Trip Daddy Phil. I know what I want and I want it now. I want more shows. I do them till I'm dead. I know what I want and I want it now. I want more wrestling because I'm Dr. Fed.
Hey! Look at him go.
And this is WrestleCulture.
Hello.
The post-tour edition. Not for Wilborn. He's still riding up and down the roads.
Up and down those roads.
Playing bones with Mark Henry.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's just still living his best life, isn't he? And so are you if you've joined us today here on WrestleCulture. And if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to tune... I don't, you can't remember.
Make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, where we preview and review Raw, Smackdown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite Collision, premium live events, pay-per-views. We have roundtable discussions, wrestler interviews on occasions. We answer your burning questions, and like we are doing right now, we host a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture.
And I'm going to get to everybody's comments, of which there's already been some left, but I want to highlight first, Jules has noted that, like, we're in some wrong seats today. Yes, Wilborn is off, but it is because it is a bit of a post-tour special edition. And I say that because Nicholas is nursing tour throat. But he's just constantly coughing if he was on microphone, which I know you would hate, Susan. I think he's thinking of you, unlike the rest of us who never do. And yeah, Wilborn is still right.
Scott Hilford does.
He does. I mean, where do you even start with the great memories made? Another fantastic set of live shows. I say Jules because she was one of the many people we were able to meet. We met her in Manchester, along with a bunch of other people we meet that are often in the comments and the like.
Jill sent a very nice email afterwards that I've not replied to yet because I'm a terrible
You're a
human
bad
being,
guy.
obviously.
We all read
but
it.
we appreciated it, Jules. We all read it on the train home.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you to Phil, who was the organizer, the lead, the idea maker, the dream weaver, the organizer, the dad, for putting it all together, because I had one of the times of my goddamn life.
I am very glad.
It's a cliche that we kind of lean on now. It's the best thing we do. Like we're all, in the numbers game and in comments and in tweets and things like that, and we're very lucky, I think. Like
there's no thinking.
We don't get
idiot.
We don't get much grief. You get the most, to be fair. We don't get much grief from comment sections and people on Twitter and the like. So it's nice anyway, but it's even nicer when it's there's just no like it.
Here's a tip from the top. Okay. I used to wade into awful discourse. I used to flagrantly try and troll people by doing, opinions about the Fed that I believed but possibly embellished just to annoy people because it's sometimes funny. If you don't do that and you just give your opinion on the shows you've watched, and if you don't respond to comments, at least my experience on Twitter is this stuff dries up. Comment sections will not touch with anything. If you just don't respond to every single person who wants attention, it's quite easy to just avoid the muck, in my opinion.
And none of the muck come to the shows, which is magic, isn't it?
Yeah,
only good eggs.
And if you do decide, I want to tweet about this, it'll probably prove to be incendiary. You know what you can do? You can click into the post. There are 3 little dots, and you can say, mute this conversation. If you know it's trending in a certain direction, mute that. And if you do get you just won't see it.
Screaming into the void.
Yeah. And you don't have to be one of these idiots who just finds himself constantly arguing with people on Twitter. Here's the thing, another tip from the top. They ain't going to come around to your way of thinking, no matter how well articulated your take is. No matter how factually, inarguably true what you are saying is, there are certain people who just want to take the piss out of you. Do not respond to them earnestly, you idiot. Unless, of course, you've been advised that it's a good way to get engagement.
Don't know who you're talking about.
Ask questions about those guys.
Can I just say, I'm very proud of us for this tour.
Yes.
Because I don't know if anyone knows this. I don't know if we mentioned it on other shows, but the tour was completely cursed. Like there was so much.
We can
going
talk about
against
this now.
it.
We can say all this stuff now. Yeah.
So it started up with me waking up one morning to a panicked messages by Simon Miller going, I don't think I can make the shows because there was the big fire thing at Heathrow Airport, which was obviously cancelling so much flight travel and stuff like that. He made it to the Manchester show, but he didn't make it to the Belfast show. And then eventually we had to get new flights from Belfast to get him to the Glasgow show, but we got him there in the end. So that was the first thing that went against it.
We were supposed to be on the bus for one day, and that fell through, didn't it? Which meant all
that
our
fell
travel was
through because
uprooted.
the bus company put them on the wrong sized bus.
Yeah.
So that was cursed. Mark Henry, his plane got turned around in the middle of the Atlantic, and he ended up going back to Boston. So he missed the first night as Reaching Disco.
Put Wilborn under great pressure. That did for what might have
pressure,
had to do more stuff on the stage for Reaching Disco and potentially less of those.
At least they had Joe Hendry, I guess, because otherwise that would have gone real wrong. And then on the not Belfast, the Glasgow show, the bus was super late, and Wilborn was on the bus because he was doing the Nottingham Sweet and Disco show the night before, and we weren't there. We flew from Belfast, and he arrived about an hour and 20 minutes into our show.
The show.
So like on the fly, we had to change loads of things about a bunch of these shows. If you came to multiple ones of them, you will have noticed that they were very different formats and very different layouts. And I'm very proud of us for handling that in a good way and for coming through and making every show unique and interesting and a good time for everyone involved. Well done, everyone.
Thank you. Bit of inside baseball. So yeah, the Glasgow show, we are pretty much under the impression, because whenever someone says they're going to be late by a certain amount of time, you add half an hour onto that time for the real answer. Their attempts to soften the blow will only hurt them in the end. So I'm thinking I have to host a podcast here, and I'm terrified.
It's getting scary. Wasn't
Miller, an unbelievable pro.
Yeah.
We ask him to do his bit first. He does. He's incredible at it. He opens up the room. But I'm still thinking this podcast might just have to be OG Dadley's. So I decide, right, okay, I'm going to do a bit here. Not that we do bits, but I'm thinking, right, I'm going to do, well, here goes nothing. Will Ward's not here. I'm going to have to step into his shoes. Hello! And I'm thinking, right, I've got a way to, I'm a little pro, get them to make more noise and go, they were louder in Manchester. Make it louder. Hello. I'm fairly certain they were actually louder in Belfast as well. Hello. And I was so proud of the bit that I just interrupted Wilborn and did it anyway when he eventually decided to turn up.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Please bollock us in the comment section if we're being too self-indulgent. But what are Carrie's?
I mean, it's him on a podcast, so you should be used to it by now.
It is also WrestleCulture. It's like, come on.
Yeah, no one cares really, so it's fine.
And it's on a Friday, Sidge. And as you know, the Smackdown previews always record on Fridays. We're
Without fail.
Loyal to Fridays, loyal to Beans, loyal to Smackdown. Phil, you've
Loyal
kind of
to banter on a Friday.
answered that question a little bit, but as the trip daddy, and there's such a you're trip dadly actually, as far as we're concerned, because we've said this for years. Wilborn is part
very deadly, and you're my kid.
Absolutely. Like, we just basically have to ask you where to be, how to eat. Like honestly, you can't take care of all of us on these trips in the build.
Phil was desperate for us to just think of some places rather than him.
But
I'm 10 minutes behind, guys, funnily enough. Why don't you go somewhere and pick something, and then I'll follow you there for once.
My favourite one was when we were in the taxi, and the taxi driver asked something. It was like, where are we staying or something. I can't remember what the question was, and everybody in the car just immediately turned around and looked at me like, okay.
We will do a lot of things on these trips, sometimes out of our comfort zone, and it always ends up awesome. I should point that out as well. The one thing we will never do, we will stick to this with all of our guns and our might, we will never use our initiative. Not as long as Phil Chambers is there. Never, ever, ever. How does this, or did this, compare to like one of our typical trips where we're just stationed in one city? The content is typically different. It's around one big show. Like, what were the differences for you this time around?
It was definitely different. Not most of the time, like, the wrangling is just getting you to one city, and then you're in one hotel, and then it's not too bad from there. It's just, making sure you're all fed and watered and things. And
he's not even lying. It really is something. We do. It's like we allow ourselves, oh, great, we can surrender all the responsibilities of our life for several days. See you later, life.
I picked two places for us to go and eat, and they were both pretty good.
Yeah.
Bob and Bert's in Belfast.
Bob and Bert's was goated.
That was goated. Yeah. And another place that I can't remember.
Bob and Bert's was a semi.
Found it on Google Maps. So
we'll shout him go.
We'll shout out my In Your House colleague Benno and Stephanie Chase for the Bob and Bert's and Ulster Sports Club recommendations. Mm-hmm. A great place to drink.
And their wonderful company, obviously.
They were tremendous. Great to see them. Great to sort of bring some of the podcast worlds together.
I was talking about this with Nicholas while we were out there, though, in terms of, like, we were like, how do you get along in normal everyday life when you actually have to be a dad? And we came to the conclusion that you just spend so much of your dad energy on your actual kids that the moment they're not like in your direct vicinity, it's just complete shutdown mode.
Yeah.
I think
You
so.
do it, you do it, you do it, you do it.
Phone battery. We arrive in the office with the phone battery set to 1%. That's how it goes. You get a work day to charge it back up, and then you go again when you get home. You know, like SAS training. No, it was all things considered. You mentioned the cursed nature of it all, and that. Like all things considered, it kind of couldn't gone better from our point of view, could it? It was just like the travel element of it. It was like
Everything
early
that was
starts
under
and
our
that,
control was great.
That's it, yeah. Like there was nothing that was sort of out of our hands. The travel, even when it was early and getting to places, into cities, like hours and hours before you go on stage, and there's no choice but to go to the pub. That hurry up and wait life that like actual touring stars talk about.
Yeah.
It was fun to live in that world, wasn't it?
So we're talking about this, and it was like 4 or 5 days probably in total with like the travel days on the ends and things. And like that was it for like 5 days, 3 shows, like still 3 cities, 3 countries really. So it's like you get that little snippet of a tour life, but that is absolutely nothing compared to like the WWE guys or like touring bands or anything like that.
I wasn't that tired, so I don't know what they're complaining about, really.
And when he was waking up in the morning, it was me with a WCW United's house show.
I was still,
Sid, wake up quick.
I was still stirring, like, and he could tell. He could probably have another hour here, but I'm too excited. Sid, I'm like, what? WCW house show from 1993 just dropped in the UK. Let's watch it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
We were placing bets on, because you got to Manchester a little bit before us, so you went and checked in at the hotel.
Yes.
And you sent like a picture of a pint and you were like holiday mode kind of thing. And we were placing bets onto what like WWE you were watching when we arrived. And lo and behold.
It was an episode of Raw from April 1996. I had really fancied watching Vader and Yokozuna. That's how my brain works. I want to tell like it's a nice and quick tour story, but you get all 3 perspectives. It involves all 3 of us, this one. And we're going to go in order of the table. Sid, I would like you to tell the story of your memory of the last night of Glasgow from inside our hotel room. And then I will tell my version of it, and it kind of folds in, Phil.
So the last night of the tour, I get this point of drunkenness where I'm thinking, I'm just going to waste my money because I'm not going to get any more drunk or any more buzzed because I'm so tired, father of 2 young kids. I don't know how the hell he does it. So I'm going to call it. I'm not going to get more drunk. I'm just going to spend more money and just emotionally shut myself off from conversations. I'm just going to sit there. So I'd rather just lie down at home. So I said, right, wonderful to, it's been emotional, to quote everyone's favourite lizard, William Regal. So I'm going to go back. It's 11 o'clock. I've done a good innings for me. So I'm lying down in bed last night and I'm asleep, but I've been woken by Hamflett. And that's fine. So he's earlier than I thought, but whatever. And he goes, you all right? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Can I eat some crisps and put the telly on? Direct quote from Hamflett. Can I eat some crisps and put the telly on?
Truly my work wife. You have lived a day in Adele's shoes with that one. Like
just when I settle into like the whole the winding down process, I'm like, knock yourself out. I'm asleep. I'm going to go back over. And then I stir, because I stir. I think most people do. And then I'm like, there's an empty bed next to me. And I thought, I must have dreamed that because there's no one in the bed next to me. An hour later, I hear Hamflett come in. I'm thinking, I must have dreamt that. That's weird. I'm dreaming about Hamflett eating crisps and watching telly.
Again, like my wife.
Really mundane dream that is, because that happens all the time. And it transpires that...
Well, yeah, I was getting into bed to eat crisps and watch telly quietly when I just finished texting Phil to say he was coming back from filming Miller at the Hydro. Yeah, the Raw ups and downs. Just to say... at end of the tour, we'll call it. I think like even me and Nicholas have finished drinking. Sid had already gone back, got a bit of food. I think I'm going to call it a night. And Phil just replied, boo, no Hamflett drink. And I don't know, have you got the messages there, Phil?
I was just going to
I don't want to sort of paint this man in a bad light and make it seem like I like push back and push back and push back. So I'll like hand over to you to read the messages because, well, yeah, read the messages first, yeah.
So I just text him after finishing up with Simon Miller and Ups and Downs. I just text him, "What you doing?" Obviously, he texts me back saying that you're heading back to the hotel, and that you were definitely more goosed and skint than you would have wanted for the club. In that experience,
I did say the club. We love the club. He doesn't love the club.
Everyone says club.
The club.
And then basically just says how was Ups and Downs, and I say, "Gonna have to drink alone now. What have you done?" and you reply saying, "Don't effing do this to me, man." And then immediately straight afterwards, not even a minute later, "I will come back out."
I was getting my jeans back on.
Mr. Jeans.
that was that. That was how much needling it took to get you back out.
Took no arm twist. Shout out to Mr. Jeans, by the way. Thank you for the comment. Just saying, great song this week, lads. It's Mr. Jeans. So he knows his way around good songs. And that was, of course, to see Wilborn host at Sweet Chin Disco. It was one of them things where we didn't necessarily get the chance to see it in action, other than the insane Belfast one that took place at 3 p.m, and it was like walking through a time machine into the club element of where we were, sort of having a quiet post-show pint. Quite the remarkable thing.
It was a time machine door. Like you go from the sort of afternoon vibe of our little room that's kind of separate, walk through the rooms. It's like, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Unbelievable. We saw Joe Hendry sing on stage, saw Mark Henry DJ, we saw Wilborn pop the buoys, and we saw Xavier Woods and Hurricane Helms and Carlito make like special guest appearances in the little VIP area.
Work in the room.
Awesome. Like WWE not be booking him as a top heel, but any room he walks in, he knows how to do it. Yeah. It was absolutely fantastic. So it was. Why
are you booing me? I'm right.
That was it, pretty much. Saw Mark Henry and Joe Hendry at like the signing booths, just both in very different ways, obviously, but both supremely over with the people of Glasgow. You were right. It was a nice way to round out the tour. I got back at like 3 in the morning.
It was the last night of the tour. You can't go to bed.
I was absolutely wrecked the next day. One of them sort of like mistakes were made. But
it was worth it.
But, because I got in double late the second time, and the hotel rooms were in where snug. Yeah,
they were snug.
I want to bury the brand in case we need them again. Snug. And I definitely didn't want to wake Sidge this time, so I ate my crisps in the bathroom. Sat in the toilet and ate them just to insulate Sidge from the crisps noise. Because I bought mini cheddars and frisps. Couldn't decide, so I bought both. I thought the frisps in particular are very noisy. They're ridged.
Ridged for her pleasure.
Ridged for his pleasure.
I started to wonder if I would actually include frisps on my confectionery hand, but we did. Thank you again for those that shared their confectionery hands on the tour.
Yeah, thanks.
That meant more than it should have done. I'll go through some of the comments. They're very nice. OG Stem Cell, thank you very much.
Oh!
Glad you guys are back. Mrs. Stem Cell and I moved into our first apartment today.
Hey.
Also, that Hurt Syndicate song is fire, but it makes a horrible chant. We hurt people. Cheers. Cheers to you, OG Stem Cell.
Cheers to you, and congratulations on that.
Matt Rains, happy Friday, brothers. Wilborn needs to go on tour more often if it means we get this trio. Have a great weekend. Possibly a Video Legends Lounge soon. Stay tuned. Anything is possible in the pyramid. Matt Rains, you are on brand. Thank you very much. Sidgwick, wish you were there.
Now I do. I'll be on tour.
Being a hell of a family man. But the rest of us are going to be live in Las Vegas. WhatCulture.com/tickets. You're going to see this image on the screens below for the rest of this month. April the 18th. It's going to be the biggest and best Smackdown watch-along in all of Las Vegas at the HyperX Arena. We're going to be doing a live stage show. We're going to be doing Simon Miller's Ups and Downs on YouTube that you can be a part of. A WrestleMania preview podcast. And then we're going to be drinking till late. And, based on that conversation, it's going to be jeans back on. And this big show might be getting a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger. There is going to be some more announcements coming up. All I will say is the WWE events that they're doing after WrestleMania, maybe don't bother with those because there might be something better.
Stay tuned
Just
for
saying.
that. WhatCulture.com/tickets. In the meantime, VIP tickets. I can suddenly
what are they?
I can feel the Wilborn heat from both sides all of a sudden.
What are VIP pickets?
The VIP tickets.
I know what VIP tickets are.
All sold out, but the General Tales tickets are still available. Mimi Burris, thoughts on Bianca's streak at WrestleMania? Right, this sort of two bits to this, I suppose. This is going to bring us briefly from self-indulgence. We'll get back to sniffing our own farts soon enough, I'm sure of that. But we did a long-form discussion on WrestleMania this week that you can check out. It's called WWE, How WWE is Ruining the Road to WrestleMania 41. Going to get your thoughts on that in a minute, Phil.
Alrighty.
Doubts from the Dadleys is all there for an hour and a half. But we didn't really touch on this. Mimi, I guess, is making the point, not just on Bianca's winning streak, but the quality streak as well. She never misses.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Sidge? Because so far with this build, so bad.
My take is I share Mimi's potential apprehension here. I'd want to maintain it as long as possible. In fact, as soon as the Undertaker streak was winding down, surely the first thing you do is you carefully select the wrestler to do it again. Like, what? It was such a money spinner. Like, you always had the streak when you had nothing else, and for a long time overlapping that streak, you had nothing else if you're the Fed. do that again, do it a few times. Then he could do streak versus streak, you know, like Streak City Jones.
That's what they'll be calling it by then.
Yeah, absolutely. Bianca Belair has done the Undertaker speed run, if you like, in terms of every time she's been at WrestleMania, it's either been like goated in-ring match-wise, Becky, Sasha, or it's been very good, Asuka. She's already better than the Undertaker in terms of hit rate. Look at some of his absolute duds that he's had. Or last year, it was a lovely spectacle, and you got Jade's debut, and it had that Silver Vision video quality, that late 80s, early 90s of people who look like walking gods win a short match, and it's still great.
She was cast as like the 20-year pro of the big three.
Yeah, even if it's not like going to be in a match of the year list.
Yeah.
I still have a great time with it. So I would have Bianca win. She could turn heel in the process. But, I mean, I would have her win. Rhea Ripley's in danger of turning heel. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to garner more resentment for Rhea if she ends up winning that, because not the Chamber, not the Rumble, just steal a contract. That's the way to get to WrestleMania. So I think they're playing with fire there. Io Sky could simply be, and she kind of is that 50-50. Win some, lose some, always over, because they're so awesome. So I would have Bianca win for the reasons you've outlined.
Phil, that was one of the matches that we were pretty critical of in terms of the build, and we were all talking about this while we were away on tour, because we were there for WWE, seemingly delighting people in the buildings, and especially at like the house show clips we were seeing. But like, there's no getting away from it. These TV tapings were like total stinkers. Turcarino, City Jones. That's what all the journalists were saying.
Not conditional either.
Not even conditional. And it was sort of unacceptable because the crowds were destined to be hot. That's kind of been a feature of most of these UK tours, even when the business is under being. But WWE's hot still. The ticket prices are reflecting that more than ever. And honestly, it feels like they were putting on town killers. Like, you couldn't get away from that sentiment in Glasgow, especially probably because we were in the city for it, and you felt a little bit.
I mean, there was a lot of people at our show that were like, can't stretch to pay that much for Raw tickets. And it's an expensive night out. And if you're going and then you're not like fully like gleeful with the results of it, you're gonna think twice about going again.
Ignoring our like personal hype for Vegas and all the fun we're gonna have, and the WrestleMania sort of like vibe in general.
Everyone.
The WrestleMania vibe that will exist in general, because it's WrestleMania and they kind of always pull something out the bag at the end of the day. Like, where are you at with this build? And a bit of a creeping sensation that the good times are coming to an end.
It does kind of feel like it. It's whether they've just kind of stretched themselves that little bit too thin with this extra few weeks in WrestleMania, obviously with it being a lot later than it usually is. But it's like, like if you've got good hot storylines, you should be able to drag them out that little bit, and to sort of compensate slightly, they moved like the Rumble back a bit and Elimination Chamber back a little bit, so you like they're lessening the extent of it. But it's still a month and a half to build to WrestleMania when they are very much used to that sort of month of build to things. And it's like that tiny little bit extra just feels like everything is a little bit stretched out. I think they've taken their time to get to the point with things because they know they've got that much extra time. Like the Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest stuff's probably a good example of that, where they kind of knew that was where they were going to head, but they didn't really bother doing anything until it got a little bit closer because they didn't feel like they'd be able to stretch it out that far. So, like, usually when we're at this point, we've got a full Mania card, we've got a build to each one of the matches, we know what the stories are going into it, and now there's still like a bunch of unknowns about the stories and things like that. So it feels like that it's not a long time, but that little bit of just extra time that they have to fill has really, really knocked them down. And not only have they got that extra time to fill, they've also got an extra hour of SmackDown to fill, which they are really not doing well at. Like, if you look through SmackDown, when the people are doing the promos and things like that, so long as they've got something to say, like a point, they're normally really, really good, and they like get good stuff out of it. Like, I mean, Cody Rhodes will be able to make something out of nothing whenever he gets on the mic usually, but he's still not got the best storyline in the world to like bite his teeth into. So you're stretching these people a lot by not giving them enough narrative structure to work from. Yeah. And then when you're adding that extra hour into SmackDown, the matches themselves all feel like they're just there.
Yeah.
And then
problems mounting.
You're putting a lot of pressure on the promos then to up the enjoyment of each show. Like, I think the Raw was a good example of it. People were super excited about seeing the John Cena stuff, seeing like what Cody would do, seeing what Punk would do, but all of them have just don't have enough to bite their teeth into to get something out of it. And they're trying, like Damian Priest is trying with the Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre's really trying with the Damian Priest stuff. And you can see them all wanting to make it right, but it's just they don't have enough.
Nothing left.
It's not great. It's a unique situation, isn't it, as well? Because you've pointed this out before. No, terrible. You've pointed this out before, but in what feels like a million years ago now, it was only Backlash France, where I think it was one of the first times that you were like, amazing crowd, you're really amazing for the show. And I still really enjoyed that show, but increasingly on this tour, I'm thinking of like the Bologna Smackdown as one example, but there are several at this point. You know, we've got the O2 there in London tonight and on Monday. And if you go into those shows, by the way, it looks like you're going to have an awesome time. But that sort of brings us to a concern. Like, we can't really criticize the fans at this point for making their own fun because it doesn't feel like they're being given much of a show. Like they're being given, to Phil's point, the stars. Like Roman Reigns just goes out there, it's that, and then you're virtually off the air. So you've got to make your own fun. You've got, you shouldn't have to, but you're in a position where I want to justify my ticket money. You know?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this, because I'm already miserable enough as it is. But the thing is, it's
making me miserable too.
As far back as Backlash France, what really struck me, and yes, I'm the curmudgeon about this, was they did a burning hammer kick out at 1. I love that if it's done right. I'm not complaining about that. God knows I'm Kenny Omega super mark. But that was the one spot that were like, yeah. You're joking. That's like the one really cool pro wrestling themed moment in that match, and it didn't get much of a pop, and everything else was performative. For me, these WWE crowd reactions, people are finally getting on my misery with this, which I'm a huge fan of. It's like the live arena atmosphere equivalent of people posting about their wonderful lives on social media without actually telling the whole truth about how great their lives are, because everyone's lives, no matter how happy you are, no matter how successful or rich you are, everyone's going to have a crap time at some point. And that social media doesn't exist to reflect that. In fact, quite the opposite, and that does inform everything else. But not to go into too much of a deep dive about the ills of social media, but what I'm getting at is I think people, to an extent, are faking it, or at least embellishing it because they're having a great time, and it now seems like the thing to do.
Yeah,
it's very performative. It's not an organic
to compete with that, like noisometer.
Yeah, it's a thing now.
Like,
it is a thing. It's a very performative, artificial thing, and because I've got it in my head that they're not really having fun, or at least that much fun, they're prepared to have fun. It's not like, put it this way, my favorite crowd reaction. I know this is a separate point, and it's not light enough for WrestleCulture. I'm sorry. When people used to say, like, oh God, Japanese crowds are the worst. So reserved and hushed and respectful, and they don't make any noise. No. You haven't seen enough. You just gave up after 5 minutes of a match, or you've just emptily regurgitated terrible opinions. They sit, traditionally anyway, right? Okay, go on, impress me. It's not almost folded. It's politely nothing's happened yet. And then when they lose their minds, they absolutely lose it, and it's so earned. That is a great atmosphere for me. That is an earned crowd reaction. And I guess it elevates something like Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre. I mean, who could possibly care about that? Or it turns out 18,000 people immediately from the jump at the top of their voices. It's fake. It's not real. I can't get on board with it. And now they're getting the slop they deserve because they've not tried hard enough. So basically, everyone you're getting what you deserve, guys. You're getting what you deserve. You've been fed slop, and you've been reacting as if you're watching the closing stretch of a peak Wrestle Kingdom main event when it's the first 2 minutes of Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre. And now they're thinking, oh, well, we can just give them the slop because they'll react any old way. You deserve it. You deserve it.
If you go into the OT tonight and it's a bad show, it's on you and you deserve it.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
It feels like
have fun. It's watching wrestling's live. Just don't have too much fun, otherwise you'll get slop in the end.
Limit your fun.
Limit your fun.
Does feel like for the last 2 years, WWE have been pretty good at dictating what the fans are going to like, in terms of they had their stories in mind, they had their stars, and they put stuff out there that they assumed people would like, and people bought into it and really, really enjoyed it.
There wouldn't be where they were if it was all fake.
No.
Yeah.
And like people bought into it and they went along for the ride and enjoyed it. But now it's coming to a point where they're still putting things out there, but they're just expecting people to buy on the same way they did when they were putting out much better stuff like a year ago.
Yeah.
And that can't last forever.
The drop teasers and the lack of true character motivation has shone through this year. Like I'm getting sick of character A bumps into character B in a corridor and then never think about it again. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? It's one thing when what
I wanted Bron Breakker versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania.
Yeah, like, and it used to work that way because the first character was in a feuad with somebody else, but there was like, they're showing you when the 6 weeks is wrapped, that's who's coming next, and then like, you know, as if by magic, but it would feel organic enough, those two characters would find a way to intersect, and then you'd remember, oh well, actually this started back here. There was an example. Cody Rhodes, that was what it was, came out on where they basically just rehashed the Brussels promo in Glasgow. And Cody Rhodes came out and nothing had changed in the last 7 days. But 7 days ago, Cody Rhodes has said, unless you become the proper John Cena, WrestleMania is going to be a cakewalk for me. And then he came out and John Cena didn't change one bit. He did it like, again, in the building, the noise was real, you know, it felt authentic enough. But nothing changed. And Cody came out and them's fighting words and the shirt's getting unbuttoned. It's like, what's happened? What's changed? Like, why are you fighting now? It's because this feels like the convenient time to fight, not because there's been any sense of story development. The Fed was doing it, like, to a surprising degree. It was doing it. I was obviously always going to be higher than usage, but there were definite weeks where, like for you, it was like begrudging respect / disbelief of, how are they putting this together?
They're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
There was a Raw review about November, December time where I said WWE is doing deft dovetailing booking. Not anymore.
We coined Roman as the tree, didn't we?
Yeah, he's the tree.
But it doesn't feel like that.
And then 2K agreed and
made him a tree. And now there's no new branches. And everything's falling. All the leaves have fallen off. It's not even autumn yet. Comment from Sailor Ammon. Disappointed with the lack of podcast this week. Quote, I had to drive around in silence. To paraphrase Spock, the needs of the many, the listeners, outweigh the needs of the few. Live shows outweigh the needs of Wilborn. Thank you, Sailor Emin. It's the best thing we do, etc. But yes, normal services just about resume next week. Wilborn's got to take a day off so that his wife can have a day off because she's been left holding the baby while Wilborn's been away. But after Monday, pretty much normal podcast services back.
It should be.
Give or take.
Should be.
Take.
Wacky spring.
You can't do podcasts without him, is that...
Well, we do, but people just love him as the man in the middle.
He's unbelievable at his job.
He's the best. He's the best. Like, in our own way as well. Like, he's kind of the most gutted. Because Mondays, it's missing Mondays, isn't he? Because he just, like, often there's like a collision to watch, and he's like sat at home. He's texting us, going, "Oh, I'm not going to get a chance to talk about this collision mid-card."
He sometimes says to me, "Can you just do the collision review by yourself, and I'll write down passages of detail about the Daniel Garcia match that I missed."
He's so angry.
And he says, Wheeler Utah's on against Dax Harwood this week, which is true.
You can feel him cracking the screen with his thumbs on his phone. Yeah. He's bloody raging. Tactical Penguin, thank you very much. Finally back. Glad you boys had a good time on tour. Can't believe Americano did an apron suplex. Praying for him versus Gable. It could be magic. Sidge, thoughts on if Grand Americano takes on Gable? What's that look like?
I mean,
you're not doing a bit?
No, I'm not doing a bit. We don't do bits on this podcast. He did an apron suplex.
Yeah. He
did the angle, but did it?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I'd give it a look. He's this new luchador. He's hot on the scene, man. You got to check it out. I think he's going to be somebody. He's a little on the short side, but otherwise pretty good. Eric Vasquez, thank you very much, Eric. Great first name. I must still be sleeping. Suji on WrestleCulture?
What?
Personal opinion, I'd like to see Hanger win the Owen. Love you guys. Cheers. Hangman Page to win the Owen?
Here's the thing, right? There is a lot of options AEW can take. All of them are goated at this point. I'm strapped in. Please don't signpost. Do not signpost. Do not signpost what we are doing here. You know,
I thought you were going to say, please don't sign wrestlers. That's how I'm feeling watching
that
WWE.
Do not signpost. Do not signpost. It could be, who's the guy? It could be anyone at this point of Hangman, Swerve, or Ospreay. This reminds me, and this is the way they should book going forward, just to really let you know, these are the guys you should care about, because that's been a big issue with AEW. It's like, care about all of them. Impossible. We'll not do that, Tony. It was Naito, Okada, Tanahashi, Nakamura, and then when Styles, and then when people left, it was Okada, Omega, Tanahashi, Naito. It's like, they could go with everyone. They could even go with a boat. But you know what I mean? It's like that.
We don't do boats.
Yeah. That 4 guys who pass around the titles while they're in their prime, and they're always, well, if I put in the best effort in this match, they're going to have to go with me in 6 months' time or at Wrestle Kingdom, or as the case will be, you know, all in the next 2 or 3, 4, 5 years to come. That's how I'm booking it. And to be honest, I don't know who I'd give that Okada reign to, if anyone, because there's so many great candidates. But that can't be a bad thing, can it?
Well,
that cannot be a bad thing.
The amount of wrestlers chasing that title, it feels like the most it's been in absolutely ages as well, doesn't it? Especially when you've got a tournament coming.
You could do like a 1 month reign, you know?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Like, not all the time, but, you know.
Phil, you know that me and Sid don't really like to take sides typically in terms of our favourite promotions. You're balanced too. Where are you at with...
He's a Fed guy deep down. He's a Fed guy
in
deep
contrast,
down.
well,
and everybody knows it.
In contrast to the sort of criticism around WWE, quietly, like there's like the praise is building for AEW. The main event remains a cloud. Like, where are you at? Not just like Hangman Page and the kind of like the rise of all these challenges with AEW. Like, are you finding your like passion for AEW coming back again?
Not really.
He's not, is he?
All right.
No.
This is interesting, though. I think people are trying to will it into existence.
Yeah, I think like we've been here before a couple of times with this sort of more recent AEW run where they'll get 1 or 2 good episodes of TV and everyone's like, oh, it's back, especially this guy over here, just because he desperately wants it so much.
I learned my lesson last year.
You won't get fooled again, will you?
Learned my lesson last year.
And it's dropped off again. And it's just going to take a little bit more, I think. And I think
it's going to take a little time.
And I think that's the problem, because it's really hard to get people back once you've lost them.
Yeah.
And to get them back, they need a reason to tune in. And then to get, like, what is that reason to tune in? It's more than just a bit of sort of good word about, oh, it's actually quite good now. Like, you need something big or something momentous or a big shift, like Moxley losing the belt, maybe. Something that is like a statement of intent going forwards rather than just a few good shows, if that makes sense. Like, you could probably get there eventually just working it off sort of word of mouth and like people on social media saying, hey, you should actually check this out. It's quite good now. And it will like steadily come back. But I think they just need that, that big statement. They should definitely keep at it. And I think they can obviously get there. They've done it before. Like, why the hell not? But I think they just need that one big thing that'll be the signifier to make people go, oh, actually, what is this? And go check it out again.
Just Darrell's got a comment. Thank you very much, Just Darrell, for this one. Sorry, I forget how it was worded, but the Dadley's idea of 2 US majors after a WWE boom / what that might look like. Are we in it now? Is momentum shifting? I think we obviously sort of talked around the idea that at least creatively and as fans, momentum might be shifting. Are we in it now? Because I think we are. I think because WWE is the market leader, it never goes away. It's just how like sort of popular it is. It just, as we saw for 20 years pretty much, it can be terrible and be massive, right? AEW might have to spend longer as a very visible challenger brand, but if it's a good challenger brand, this might be the platonic ideal of the 2 North American majors, mightn't it?
Well, platonic ideal would be WWE not existing no more. But
I don't know how can that can be platonic, because I'm not friends with that idea.
It's just, you know.
Put Dr. Fed out of a job.
I don't want to have to close the local medical facility.
Well, put it this way, there'll be a lot of patients who need treatment, who need copium.
That'll be true.
Those people that, like, the boys need their candy.
The marks just dishing out Netflix to watch the archive. And
the marks need their copium, you know. Look, here's the thing. WWE it's still got Cody Punk, man. It's still got Cody Punk. They could pull the trigger on Jacob Fatu doing really cool stuff, you know. They've got loads of options left. I think the rumors of its potential demise, I think a lot of it's you and your feelings and your little worries. They've still got loads.
Still don't care about money.
It won't be well booked. It'll be like, you know what? Like, it'll be 2022 AEW for a while, where the invincible streak's over, and it's the flair's not there. That true brilliance isn't really there, but it'll still be like pretty damn great. Like, if you watch late 2021, pre-Brawl Out 2022 AEW, it doesn't feel as great. There's not like this wonderful, just fountain of ideas that existed in 2020 AEW.
Yeah.
That true, Christ, that's an unbelievable idea. That wasn't there for much of 2022 AEW when Punk was still there and all the rest of it. I think that's where we're at with WWE. The flair's gone. Like, the attention to detail is gone, but you've still got the big matches. You'll still have the good, great feuds.
Yeah.
But you won't have CM Punk taking the piss.
You just don't want as well the well, you might want. You don't want the X7 cliff edge, do you? I think that's like there are ways for booms to sort of fade.
Don't put that idiot Stephanie McMahon in charge of creative.
That's a good start.
And that's a good start.
That's a good start.
I mean, they do have the massive amounts of Netflix money, but Netflix also have the get out clause of it, don't they? So it's not like it's safe.
It's not stakes free, They've got to like prove themselves for quite a sustained period. It's not like often where they'll give like the network on a new deal 6 weeks of
5 years time they'll go crawling back to USA Network.
That's what
it's just what happens.
It's always there, USA.
Just what happens.
It's always sat there.
Have you seen what gets the rate? She's sleeping. I'm fairly certain the thing that has replaced Raw, whatever it may be, gets like a 0.1.
They absolutely force them to
yeah. I mean, they need SmackDown, bro.
Sticking with AEW, Kieran asks, after the Dynamite review, I know we get into some star conversations. If Von Wagner pairs with MJF, incredible pitch by Sidgwick.
Did I tell you this pitch?
No.
Von Wagner getting paired with MJF with the idea of MJF just browbeating him, just like calling him worse than crap all the time. Then Von Wagner eventually rises up.
He says, I need to hear the crowd sing Wagner, Wagner, same as how they did for Wardlow. Love the pods. Thank you very much, Kieran. That would get over. That would get over.
You've got the ultimate arsehole in MJF versus this guy who's just so weirdly sympathetic in Von Wagner.
Yeah.
Like, you could do so much with it. Like, just say, Von Wagner's just stood there. He's just stood there like the statue that he is, and I love him for it anyway. And MJF's just doing this promo. He's got an upcoming pay-per-view match against, I don't know, Hangman Page 2 or Swerve Strickland. We've not seen that yet. And he could just, out of nowhere, just say, you're Von Wagner, I'm MJF. And Swerve Strickland, Von, you've got no presence whatsoever, do you?
Just like...
And then just go back to his promo.
But I do. I exist in the world.
But you could just say something like, I forget you stood there half the time. You just got nothing about you, do you?
Makes him jump when he moves. Like, whoa!
Yeah. Just this constant negging. And every now and then, Wagner learns to emote. Maybe he does some Ring of Honor stuff. Maybe he gets a match on Collision and he's like starting to come up. And you could MJF versus Von Wagner is going to feed families, bro.
You're out with Von Wagner, Phil. Where are you at with Von Wagner? You
didn't watch NXT, bro.
I missed the goddamn NXT train when you were watching it.
Sit next to Wilborn. I always assume by osmosis some of it cuts through,
Why would he watch the show, Hamflett?
He tries to force it through by osmosis, but it doesn't always work.
You're the one that has to sit there while his keyboard starts to smoke as he's typing out every word that Tony D'Angelo says for NXT. The most prep he does.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the NXT review and preview.
Every time he's got those headphones on, I'm thinking, is he doing work? He's not. He's transcribing those interviews.
He's typing mafia stuff. Cameron Luxton, thank you very much, Cameron. Hi, guys. Tim Tams and hats made it safely to LA. Is this a bit of WrestleCulture lore about some gifts?
This is a bit of WrestleCulture lore. Trade in Newcastle hats with Adam Nicholas. Newcastle, Australia, and Newcastle here. Obviously.
Nice. I like that.
I'm bringing Tim Tams. Obviously.
Tim Tams.
Why are you already in America? What are you doing?
Who's this?
Cameron Luxton. Made it safe. Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe he's already just gone out there early.
God damn.
I'm jealous.
Gone too early, just like the Fed.
That's decent stuff. It's good gear.
It's peaked.
We've touched on this slightly, but John's ass. We've got to answer. Maybe we'll narrow it down to one here. The boys are back. Lovely.
John's ass.
John Harrison, and he has asked. Sorry.
Oh, asked. Is it just John's ass?
Got a comment from John's ass. It was don't like.
Usually it's him talking out of it.
What? Lovely to hear about the good bits from the talk. What were your personal highlights? Have a great pod. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, John Harrison. Thank you as always for the awesome theme to WrestleCulture. Individual highlight, Phil?
Highlight. Don't know. Come back to me.
Okay, Sidge.
All of it, but I loved each and every show, each and every meet and greet, but that kind of goes without saying at this point. Highlight for me was entrusting myself with responsibility to pick a place. I feel like Phil had that thing of, I'm 10 minutes behind you guys. Use your initiative. I've used initiative for the past however many months to organize it. You do it. So I was like, I had a little wonder to myself, which is a big deal for me. I'm terrible with directions. And it was horrendous because I was like, it's Sunday in Belfast. Hamflett had gone for a run. I could either be lazy or I want a coffee. You're a grown man, just go for a coffee. I'm not a good traveler nor a good directions guy. So I was like, I'm going to just have a wander and find somewhere to go for coffee. Unbeknownst to me, and I'm a big coffee nerd, there was a bloody specialty roaster 10 seconds away from the hotel in the other direction in which I walked. And I only found this out after going for an okay but generic coffee anyway. So on my travels, I'm a big fan of Mexican food. I see like a Mexican place, and I'm like, take the boys there later, I'll recommend that. And then once I remembered where it was, I did. And we had 2 hours of just amazing pata upstairs in a really comfortable place.
There, yeah.
Really nice. Like, the food was okay, below what I was expecting, but the vibes were lush in that little upstairs room.
It was the one day where you got something approximating rest, because we all had very early starts the next day, but there wasn't the show. And it's like super exciting, but the nerves do come and all that kind of stuff. There's the anticipation, the adrenaline, everything, all the mixed emotions. This is that one.
It was good to just dwell within the moment of
like there was a sort of a 15 to 16 hour period where you could just be for a second, and especially in Belfast, amazing city,
Belfast is amazing.
Mine would be, because I echo all the sentiments and everything we'll continue to say for months and months ad nauseum, we apologise. One of those moments that you almost can't believe you're living in it. I love the Garage in Glasgow. I've seen some like my favourite bands there, and it was awesome to get to play. A genuine like honour to think this is. I was texting a few of my mates, just winding them up, playing here later on. Like that kind of stuff. I think it might have been because of that, but my nerves were the worst for the Glasgow one. We'd had like 2 shows that had gone really well, like above expectations. So if anything, I should have been relaxed last one, but I wasn't. I was a bit like up a height with it for whatever reason, and we're waiting to go out. I'm talking seconds before we go out on stage. Simon Miller's music is playing for us to go out on stage, and the door that we come out of is one of them fire exits with a little bit of brick to stop the door closing shut, and somebody kicked the brick out of the way, and we all got locked in the room.
It was me.
Was it you? So Miller's music is just playing, and all of a sudden we're in a corridor, and then, I don't know, somebody said it was like, I don't think there's an open door. And I just saw like Nicholas sort of dart off down the opposite direction to find the one way out. We had to come all the way around the outside of the building, back in again, switch off Miller's music, open the fire door from the outside while we all stood in a corridor like trapped. And it just did wonders for that kind of, I think can't take this seriously. You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
And it just brought me all the way back down. It was sort of like the perfect time for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
I think on the first night when we're already sort of feeling, that's gone wrong, and now we can't get out.
Yeah.
But by then you are just sort of laughing it off. Good times.
Right. I'm going to go with 2. One is just seeing your kids grow up, and I'm very proud of you. There's a weird show on Netflix. It's a Japanese thing where they just kind of send their kids off to the shop.
I've heard of this.
It felt very much like that. See what you get up to along the way. It was like, oh, look at him go. He's being so brave. And the other thing is just in general running the Manchester Academy, because I grew up in those buildings watching gigs. All my first gigs were there. And just so many memories of sort of going to all of those buildings and seeing loads of stuff throughout my sort of teens, and then desperately running for the last train home, missing it, and then going to Julie's Rock World until 6 a.m. because it was the only place that was open.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
me and Phil discovered as well, independently, we'd gone before, years before we knew each other, we'd actually attended the same show in Manchester, System of a Down, supported by the Dillinger Escape Plan, who performed in Silhouette.
Beautiful. So yeah, just getting to run that room. We've run it before with WCBW, and like the first ever gig I ever live filmed was there. I filmed Less Than Jake and Real Big Fish. So it's like
I would have seen that tour in Newcastle.
Loads of firsts in those buildings, and so it was just nice to like go back and actually run it.
I think that's it, isn't it? With the American venues, it's all going to be brand new, and that's got some sort of magic to it. But we'd never really had the opportunity to do it like a tour, I suppose. It's you're in the town where the wrestling is. The end. This one was like, I know the names of those places, and to that point, because we just haven't mentioned it, and we should. God dang, the staff, the facilities, the look, the vibe, the everything of the Limelight in Belfast. Jesus Christ!
I've already forgotten the guy's name, but who was managing it? Yeah, whatever. Whoever was running the
crew.
Limelight in Belfast is a goddamn pro.
Yeah, pro.
He's so good.
Red curtain. It was stunning in there, wasn't it? So amazing. Mr. Phoenix, thank you very much. Greetings, Big Ham, Full Chamber, and getting Sidgy with it. all good.
Is that anything?
Thanks for all you do as always.
What else you got?
Hope the world that doesn't include Canada, boo, we tried, tour is going well. Happy Friday and hashtag I am forward. I'm never going to put that NXT match over Mr. Phoenix, but I will tell you that I did send a few emails out and about to venues in Canada. You did as well, didn't you? We scouted a few in Toronto for Elimination Chamber that wasn't meant to be. Went right the way to the tippy top, saw the hotel rooms in the Skydome for Elimination Chamber, and even asked if they'd be interested in hosting some popular British podcasters. No reply. It wasn't something we could quite pull off this time, was it?
It wasn't, but one day.
I'd love to go to Canada. I would love to go to Canada.
Nice of Mr. Phoenix to take some time out of JD from New York's DMs to talk to us. Lovely, thank you.
Yeah. Just Darryl back again with all the things that matter, quite frankly. Happy Friday, goats. Right, this is for both of you. If a Twix is on my confectionery hand, is each bar one finger each or one Twix pack for one finger? What are the rules? And he also says, come to Chicago. Christ, talk about cities on a list. Chicago. I don't even know what I would do if we got to run Chicago. That would be the best.
What are the rules?
What we're saying with Twix is...
I mean, you could get like a tiny little fun size, guys. Surely the rules are up to you. You can buy the Twixes that are single fingers. They're like share multi-pack things.
I know, but I'm not even a Twixman, but when I'm eating one Twix, there is something in my brain chemistry. It's like, where's the second one? Like, I was thinking about this when I was going to add the Bueno to my little finger, but you get 2 with Buenos, and generally I want 8. So, like, you need a second hand. Where are you at with this message?
Sometimes you get 4 with a kick.
I think you have to use 2 fingers.
2 fingers?
Yeah.
If you want a Twix, you're going to have to use 2 fingers. That's Sidge's words. I'm glad with
that.
Nice to have an arbiter on these situations.
So long as you can buy it as a one-fingered deal, it's fair game.
You would say that. Your middle finger was a pipe of Pringles.
Here's a question. Other than, like, you know what? What if you got webbed hands?
Ooh.
Because you could hubba bubba.
Nice. The chewing gum. We have been extending this body out. We had the Slim Jim as like a spine, possibly. We obviously, on the tour itself with Jules, we nailed that Smarties would make good nails.
Strawberry laces for veins.
Strawberry laces for veins was kind of inspired, actually.
Lint blue.
What has it blue? Lint balls for nipples, obviously to go with the cream egg and Mars bar for the dick and balls. So yeah, we're open to other sort of confectionery body parts as we make this hideous...
Tootsie Roll, as the case may be.
He's saying it's tiny. And it ain't made of plastic. Do you like Tootsie Rolls? They're not my favourite.
I like a Tootsie Roll. Hershey's chocolate, no. America's candy is a mixed bag, innit?
It is a mixed bag. You can't say
got everything else. You got everything right except the candy.
The only crap American chocolate I can buy into is like Reese's on Reese's.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't chocolate, but it kind of fits in with
and they put more stuff inside it over there.
And they
crisps
put more
and biscuits and that.
So I'm kind of into the crapness in them, but if you're just buying a chocolate bar, American chocolate ain't it.
You're not going for generic Hershey's like you would the generic dairy milk, are you?
Yeah, it's too sweet.
Galaxy.
Funnily enough, it's too sweet.
Matt Rains is back on again, just as chipping another $5. God damn it, I love my king. Here's another $5.
Yeah.
Effectively buying the British.
And I was going to say loyal subjects. That's trademarked, I
think. What the F are you doing?
00 Black Torch 00. With the rise of movies like The Iron Claw and Queen of the Ring that highlight real people behind the wrestlers as prestige dramas, what person or story do you want presented? And who do you fancy cast in the important roles?
Ooh.
Who wants that one first?
There's goddamn loads of wrestling stories that would make real good movies.
Yeah, for me, right? The Von Erich thing, as soon as I see wrestlers like being portrayed by actors as they're meant to be real, Von Erich, the Iron Claw, it looked like Young Rock to me, which is really bad.
I mean, when the Flair guy was on,
I thought you're meant to be taken, for the tone of the movie and for the critical acclaim aspiration. I could not take it seriously. And being in this job, it was just too jarring, knowing, well, you've missed out a brother. Mm-hmm. This is wrong. I find it hard to suspend my disbelief for a story based on true events, which is just not all right. So maybe I'm not the person to ask. Here's the thing, right? I think you could make a very, very good film about a pretty not little known about figure in pro wrestling in terms of tragedy, like tragic comedy. Bruce Hart.
Bruce Hart.
Bruce Hart. I don't know who would play him. Like, you can get Gary Busey to play Bruce Hart for the latter stages of his life.
Gary Busey.
But no, Bruce Hart, awful, fascinating man at a level that I don't think gets talked about enough.
Yeah, that like the wrestler was so many little stories folded into one character. They were almost trying
Caleb Landry Jones playing Bruce Hart.
I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to look that up.
He was in Twin Peaks. He was the guy who was going out with Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, God, yeah. That's a good show.
That sort of like scuzzy look. He could play Bruce Hart. Caleb Landry Jones playing Bruce Hart in a biopic.
Who would you pick, Phil? Or wrestler and potential actor.
I don't know who would play him, but my go-to is always obviously Mick Foley.
Yeah,
whose life would generally.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I've got nothing for who would play him.
It's made easier by
Like handsome when he was younger. For
Yeah,
piece,
he had his moment.
You could have somebody that was willing to be method and like go like do the up and down weight, for example, as Mick Foley's weight. So like when he talked in his book about, is it 99, where he just doesn't feel in fighting shape at all, like let the actor go absolutely nuts for that and then kind of back down again. The books feel like cheat codes, don't they? Because obviously Foley's first 2 books are so amazing.
Yeah.
Brett's book is incredible, and you're reading that thinking, well, how much of this could be a film?
Yeah.
Like,
the Rock's book, obviously, he started with $7 in his pocket. I don't know if you know that.
I mean, obviously, every day of his life's been a film ever since. Like,
especially when he's on Smackdown.
Cinema. So,
and The Rock could play him.
The Rock as like the youngest version of himself. I can get there. But like wanting it done by A24 because he's desperate for that credibility as well. I was thinking Brett, but Bruce is better because it's a harsher story, isn't it?
It's a horrible story. Bruce Hart, I want to see it now, actually.
I don't know. There's definitely something in when you were saying tragic like comedy.
You got to laugh at some of the Bruce Hart stuff.
Yeah, well, there's like definitely something in like a Marty Jannetty, isn't there?
Aye.
Like you're almost like not making it to the top, but seeing the bright lights for so long. That's its own story, isn't it? Yeah. I pity the actors that get any of these roles because like whenever you hear about an actor learning to take bumps for a wrestling film, what the hell are they doing, man?
And if you want a method actor, Marty Jannetty, you're going to go to some places.
Oh, boy.
Like, how far are you willing to go? Like, who's the guy who was in Succession? He got nominated for the Best Supporting Oscar and he didn't get it. But his whole thing is he's so method that the cast of Succession were like, you know,
Guy's an asshole.
This guy's a bit of an asshole. Like, you don't need to go that far. And he's like, no, I need to embody this person. Will you have sex with your biological daughter then? It's like, well, that's a test.
Yeah.
Not that Marty Jannetty did, but, you know, the temptation was there. And then he realised, oh, no, she's not. So
it was past tense. She'd been daughter.
She'd been daughter.
Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon went pretty method. He could.
How far
was he willing to go?
You know, the bit of CGI, like, you know, a bit of movie magic, wacky, like over-the-top expression, 90s Jim Carrey could dial it down a bit to be Marty at his party in best.
Yeah.
And then older Jim Carrey, where I think just like life started to take its toll. Yeah, like that. He could do that one pretty well.
Yeah, you've got all sides to him there.
Wilborn would be like front row for that one as well. Yeah. It's gonna be. He's just expected it to be like Dumb and Dumber. He's like, oh, after the first hour, none of it made sense. Things got pretty sad. What's going on? Kieran's back on just to mention, for the WrestleMania 41 build, it feels like they're giving, this is interesting, feels like they're giving it the all-in 2023 treatment of get stuff on the card for the sake of it. Men's triple threat feels as thrown together as the Kenny Omega 6-man tag. I hadn't made that comparison, but the excitement feels the same. Like, we were blessed enough to have AEW in the UK in a big way for the first time. You knew that, like...
You were so uninterested, mate, that you actually almost didn't go on a trip.
80,000 people were going to be there. The Punker was destined to steal the show. Almost did till the main event. But like,
Kenny's match was a full star higher, so
yeah, he's speaking the truth. But the car, it was, you couldn't help but sort of, I mean, it was angrier, I think, because it felt like you're blowing your first opportunity, and this is not, you know, it's not like WWE's first rodeo.
Yeah.
But a lot of those, in terms of the numbers, absolutely, like just this glut of wrestlers. I wish Triple H was having harsher conversations with people.
We'll never know how much of this is down to The Rock and that just getting in the way of all possible plans.
Certainly with the top of the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it fizzles down because, like, whatever the top of the card breaks out, well, if they're not in the top of the card, where are those people and where are those people? And then it's like it filters down the rest of the card. And the three-way just feels like, I'm sorry, it's a bit late. We've just got this.
I said this on a live show, man. CM Punk, if who likes to float reports out there. Maybe he couldn't make his mind up about what he actually wanted to do, and it's just sent everything haywire. Did he want Gunther? Did he want Roman one-on-one? Has that now sparked the idea of, well, what's Seth going to do? He can do this. Maybe if Punk had just done what he's told.
Hasn't happened yet, and it never should. Yeah, nothing goes wrong in companies when Punk's just Punk. All right?
Okay.
Not that I've seen.
He's licking the bloody McMahon Helmsley teat now, isn't he?
It's just thanking them for opportunities. It's just respectful backstage demeanour, and I, for one, like that. Anyway, before we run out of time completely, it's time for
Bloody Good Quiz.
And it's sponsored this week by Matt Rains, who has popped in again to tell us that the Legends Lounge video is live. It's good stuff.
Can I just pop in very quickly? There are times that I wanted to say, here's what I'm drinking. I'm not drinking all the Fridays, but sometimes I am. And because I've refused to actually download the app, Twitter's broken browser just doesn't let me upload images half the time. So I'm trying. Not hard enough, obviously. I'm not downloading the app, but I do try in the sense it just tells me to go away. So
he's boozing, but he's losing. That's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah. I do like seeing the pint pictures every week because I'm not having them. So, my last quiz was criticised somewhat. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was all about live events in April in Las Vegas.
It was awful.
And I was beating it into the ground because I was excited to announce the Luxor, and we weren't allowed at the time.
Hey, you'll always have that title of worst WrestleCulture quiz of all time.
Well,
no one can take that off you.
Well, we'll see.
Apart from maybe yourself.
Maybe myself today, we'll see. I don't typically endorse the use of AI for anything. However,
it's the
worst.
Endorse it every goddamn
It's the worst week to do it. Me and Phil are big Ghibli fans as well, so we are particularly sore.
Oh, and in that, my God.
Yeah.
But I did have 10 minutes before we recorded, and I kind of forgot. And
Favorite Ghibli?
Favorite Ghibli? Ooh.
That's helpful.
That's tough. Probably Porco Rosso.
Oh.
Pig in a Plane.
Pig in a Plane. Can't go wrong with a Pig in a Plane. I do like a bit of Totoro.
My favorite's Totoro.
Yeah.
So I've watched it with my kids. It's such a beautiful, beautiful film, but my kids it was just a lovely time to watch it with the kids. My favorite deep cut Ghibli, I like Whisper of the Heart. It's a good deep cut one.
You're asking me.
You don't like it, mate.
Do you?
It's very Ghibli.
Scooby-Doo's WrestleMania Mystery.
Right.
Anyway, so the questions.
Such a complete
I decided to ask AI to give me 10 questions about WWE on tour. Right, obviously, because we've been on tour this week. But in the interest of trying to rebuild my reputation and pay tribute to Wilborn's art and prove that human art is better than AI art any day of the week.
You deleted the AI quiz and wrote your own.
No. I asked it to give me options that used puns, brackets, optional vulgar, for some of the incorrect answers. Okay?
Okay.
So
this is AI doing it, not you.
There's going to be some right answers.
Did you ask it to do it in the voice of Adam Wilborn?
I didn't, but I should have done.
Really
it's probably got that now, hasn't it? Yeah, I didn't think about that. So I'm going to only accept the answer that AI deemed to be the right one. It emboldened the right answer for me. I did not fact check it. But yes, these are all AI-generated vulgar puns.
What a terrible week to do it, you moron. It's turned even more heel, mate. Like literally in the span of 72 hours.
I'm literally just asking questions, Sidge. Yeah?
Next week is you're on live as a Ghibli character.
Right. Oh, yeah. We'll have some of that. Ghibli's if you want.
The castle if you want, that's square.
Question one. I wouldn't mind being a pig in a plate. I like that guy. That's all I've ever seen.
Porco's rules, man. Porco rules.
Right. Yeah, play along, but they're all factually incorrect or something wrong with them. What is the name of the UK-based WWE event held annually in the UK? Yes, it repeats UK in the question. Is it annually, remember? It's every year. Is it A, the WWE UK Championship Tournament? Is it B, Clash of the Pints? Is it C, Smackdown on My Bangers? Or is it D, the Royal Rumble in the pub?
I mean, it's none of them.
That's what makes this quiz great.
Phil, A.
Yay!
You're right. It's the UK Championship Tournament held annually, of course.
Yeah.
We all remember 2017's winner, Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
Question 2.
Can't wait to watch Royal Rumble in the pub, though.
Royal Rumble, Smackdown on My Bangers in the O2 tonight.
Smackdown on my bangers.
Right. Question number 2. Which British wrestler is famous for his tag team partnership with William Regal in WWE? Is it A, Drew McIntyre? Is it B, Wade Barrett? Is it C, Mick the Sausage O'Belly? Or is it D, Cesaro the Londoner?
I hate AI, and I really hate this quiz.
See how it works back? We're bullying AI. See? It's bad.
B.
The man has spoken.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Wrestling-wise, mate.
What were the... What were,
So, Sid said B, William Regal. So you left it.
Say it
Come on,
later.
famous tag team with William Regal.
Just say it later, man.
Drew McIntyre, Mick the Sausage O'Belly, or Cesaro the Londoner?
A.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Come on, guys. It's Cesaro the Londoner.
Of course it
You
is.
knew that. Still 1-0 to Phil. Still 1-0 to Phil. How are you all doing at home? Number 3. Who was the first WWE Universal Champion to wrestle in the UK during a live event? What's that even mean? Is it A, Finn Balor, B, Roman Reigns, C, Seth Rollins and his tartan trousers, or D, Braun Strowman and his spotted dick?
At least that's something. At least that's something.
Is that anything?
Phil, A. Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
No, dear, that's
I
wrong.
only held it for a day. Does AI even know that? C.
Seth Rollins and his tartan trousers.
No, dear, that's
I don't
wrong.
think you're taking this seriously. It was Roman Reigns. Question number 4. What city did WWE visit for the first ever United Kingdom pay-per-view event in 1992? Was it A, London, B, Manchester, C, Glasgow's Saucy Showdown, D, Birmingham's Big Sausage Bash?
I'm sorry, AI sucks.
It's the way. See how I've won it? Yeah, you all thought it was going one way, and I went the other. It's trash. It's absolute trash.
I didn't need to be reminded of it being trash. It's not a revelation to me. It's just a bad quiz.
Over
A.
1-1.
1-1.
1-1.
We're
It's
doing it.
tense. It's tense. Question 5. Which WWE legend made a surprise appearance at the 2017 WWE UK Championship? That's the 2017 one. Annual event, remember. Was it A, Shawn Michaels, B, The Undertaker, C, Triple H in a tartan kilt, D, Stone Cold with his bangers and mash?
It's A. It's A, I guess.
You're going with A, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Tell you what, he's crept in
He's
front,
good at
Phil. He's showing his knowledge
good
now.
at
He
it.
was embarrassing himself early doors, but like, he's going through.
Just write a
Stone Cold
quiz.
Steve Austin with his bangers and mash.
Just write a quiz, bro.
Question 6. It loves this. Which British wrestler was crowned the first ever
If I
WWE
hear
United
bangers
Kingdom-
one more time, I'm going to leave the studio.
WWE United Kingdom champion? The first ever. That was in the 2017 edition of the annual tournament, of course.
Was it someone on their tartan shorts?
Was it A, Tyler Bate? Was it B, Pete Dunne? Was it C, Roderick Pudding Strong? Or was it D, Johnny Kippers Gargano?
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Don't encourage the slop.
I can give you the options again.
A.
I don't even know the question.
Phil got in there. It was A, Tyler Bate. Come on, Sige. Come on, engage the brain, pal. It was indeed Tyler Bate, the first UK champion. Number 7. What the?
It's 2-2, innit?
It's 2-2.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here? Which WWE superstar is known for their famous British accents during the UK tours? Is it A, the British Bulldog? Is it B, Paige? Is it C, Big Show in a bowler hat? Or D, Baron Corbin with a crumpet in his hand?
It's I don't know, B, mate.
There's
on
your
a
front
roll.
with Paige.
Hey, he's liking it now. He's getting them right.
I know.
Right,
I'm pathetic, I know this.
right. Where in the UK did WWE, it loves this, did WWE hold the annual 2017 UK Championship Tournament? Was it A, Blackpool?
How's that got enough friggin' SEO over Clash at the
Overwhelm
Castle to
everything.
like overwhelm AI?
Decimating it, isn't it? What have they done there? Is it A, Blackpool?
Yes.
3-3, and
It's actually tense.
well, because the options, of course, I'm glad you got in straight away, because if you weren't in the room, you probably knew it because you're from Blackpool. And
Yeah, it is a
because
hit.
B was London, yeah. C was Manchester in the pudding pit, and D was Cardiff's buttered biscuits. So, you know, if you weren't, yeah, probably would have gone long on that one. Question 9, 3-3.
Yeah.
Oh, any result is
Exciting.
possible. What UK tradition is commonly celebrated at WWE live events in the UK? Is it A, Drinking tea?
I would have written a quiz for you.
Is it B, fish and chips and pile drivers? Is it C, wrestling on the Royal Mile? Or is it D, the full English Smackdown?
Not even a question.
Come on, guys.
What's
What
the question?
UK tradition? They're all traditions. We all do it every day.
Every
What
day.
UK tradition is commonly celebrated at WWE live events in the UK?
I don't know. It's B.
Oh, look at him go.
Sidgwick's 4-3 up on the last question.
The
Now,
green on this one.
and now I know he wants it. So we go to
Who wants it?
You want
wants
it.
it?
We go to question 10. It's going to be a Sidgwick win or a draw. I did not do a tiebreaker
I hate
question.
I hate conceding a last minute equaliser. Man.
Right. Well, you'll have no problem then.
'Cause you can't celebrate. You got a point. The other way around's better.
Well, all you need is WWE knowledge and you'll get it right. Which British WWE superstar returned to the ring at the 2020 UK tour after a long absence? Was it A, Drew McIntyre? Was it B, Paige? Was it C, Jack the Jelly Deal Swagger? Or was it D, Wade the Preston Breakfast Barrett? That's what we all called
Preston
him.
Breakfast. That's what I call him.
A.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Sidgwick A. Got that first. But he said his name first, so if
Oh,
we're being really pedantic, Phil.
A. Just because it'd be funny if it is A.
he is, in fairness, has conceded. That's a bit like you giving away a penalty in the last minute and then them missing it, and then you'd be like, I saw the keeper move on his line, you need to take that again, even though it was for your team. The quiz has ended in a draw 4-4, which is kind of what we all wanted anyway. And that concludes this week's WrestleCulture.
Good episode. Until
As Sidgwick points out, it was
question,
indeed a good episode today. Where do I do that thing? It's if I go there. Yes, it tells me how long I've got left, doesn't it? So I can hit the vocal and be a professional like Wilbon.
About
That is insane. How does he do that for 50 seconds? How does filibuster? He's a frigging genius, man. He did it in Belfast. We were in real trouble over there. No, thank you very much for joining us for this higgledy-piggledy live tour, fart-sniffing edition of WrestleCulture. It's been great. There's some pretty cool content that we've put out. We've got another Best Match Ever coming, I think, next weekend. We've got a WWE's Ruining the Road to WrestleMania podcast.
Sure are.
It's
fair.
recorded a Q&A that I believe we're dropping on the channel tomorrow. There's a Q&A with you, Phil, from last week.
Who
that
knows
was still
when that'll go out?
in the chambers.
Hey.
Huh?
Look at you.
Got anything? That's dropping soon. Let us know your favourite things that you come at the end of Mr. in the song Mr. Vane, because we've been singing that non-stop for last week, and we
That's
can't
good
get
stuff.
enough of it anymore. If they want to follow us, they can at WWE, WhatCulture WWE, where they can follow you at.
M. Sidgwick.
They can follow Phil at.
Way out of time here.
Yeah, I
At
know.
Fill my chambers.
I would have got in there if you'd just said your name.
No,
And until next time,
you
we
wouldn't.
will see you soon.
You wouldn't. You can't turn the thing up. When it's
WrestleCulture is sponsored by a live studio audience. What is that?
Sponsored.
Wrestling!
Wrestling. Idiot.
Easy job.
Go turn this off.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy SmackDown if you're going tonight. WhatCulture.com/tickets for more of this sort of garbage, but in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the bright light city is going to set.
Goodbye, Gag.
We'll see you soon. Nailed that. Fuck you. It's so AI, so fucking shit, innit? That's all. I was really thinking like.